The National Institute of Communicable Diseases says South Africa is entering its fourth COVID-19 wave, with 7 provinces recording a rise in new cases. Gauteng is currently the country's coronavirus epicenter. Today, Premier David Makhura is ramping up the province's vaccination drive. The Gauteng Coronavirus Command Council is also set to provide an update on its measures to curb the spread of the disease. For more on this, we're joined by Heidi Giokos. Heidi, thanks so much for being there for us. What do we know so far, apart from the NICD saying Gauteng has definitely entered the fourth wave?
Yes, certainly, Annika. I think it's a huge concern looking at those COVID-19 infection numbers, especially here in Gauteng. A very similar picture to what we saw in the third wave, with the majority of infections coming out of this province. Yesterday, there was over 8,000 cases recorded nationally, but 6,000 of those were here in Gauteng. So, of course, the Premier, together with NECs and other officials, will be briefing at about 11:30 this morning to speak about the readiness and preparedness to deal with the fourth wave. Of course, we do know the Premier yesterday indicating that they're trying their very best to make sure that they deal with this, and that hospitals and all other departments are ready to deal with a possible influx. But we do know that this morning's program will be looking at a door-to-door community mobilization, as well as a school zone-based vaccination program. And the reason for this is because the main message that has been coming across from all officials, Annika, health experts, the health minister, the NICD, all health experts have been pushing the message to say vaccinate, vaccinate, vaccinate. And the reason for this is because the data and the science-based evidence that has come out is to say that it's imperative for people to get vaccinated, because even though you can get reinfected, even if you have been vaccinated, there's serious protection against severe COVID-19 and possible death. And this is going to, of course, take off the burden on hospitals and the rest. So this is a program that's going to include the NEC for Education here in the province, Panyaza Lesufi, as well as the NEC for Health in the province, and the Premier. As you can see, there is a slight discussion with the Premier. My colleague Heidi Giokos is actually just showing you how the Premier is in discussions with some students, some pupils here, because we do know that those between the ages of 12 to 17 are getting vaccinated. So it's a program that's trying to include everyone, and to make sure that as many people get vaccinated as possible that are eligible.
Heidi, before I let you go, are you feeling the fourth wave here in Cape Town? People are starting to cancel events.
Yes, certainly, Annika. I think there's heightened anxiety here in the province. We do know that cases are on the rise. It's a very worrying picture, very similar to what we saw during the third wave. And as you can see, I've actually double masked today, just to make sure that we have that extra protection, because as much as one tries to be careful, you have to make sure that you adhere to regulations. So double masking, or not double masking, but masking, social distancing, sanitizing, and if you have not been vaccinated yet, the message is to get vaccinated. So I think there's definitely a sense of anxiety, and of course all officials calling for precaution. And if you don't need to be out and about and you can stay at home, that is the advice from officials, to say limit your exposure, because the numbers are on the up.